Today we'll look at some of the most epic revenge stories, starting with number 1. Kronos devours his own children. In the beginning, there was chaos, and from chaos came the Titans, ancient, colossal beings who ruled the universe before the gods you actually know by name. The king of the Titans was Uranus, god of the sky. Uranus was married to Gaia, the earth itself. Together they had children, many children, and Uranus, in his infinite wisdom as a father, decided he hated them. He stuffed them back inside Gaia, just back into the earth, into their mother, because they frightened him, because some of them were monstrous, because he could. Gaia, understandably, was furious. She was in constant, agonizing pain with her own children imprisoned inside her body. So she went to her son Kronos, the youngest Titan, the sharpest one, the ambitious one, and handed him an adamantine sickle, the hardest substance in existence, forged from the earth itself. She asked him to do what needed to be done. Kronos waited until nightfall, crept up on his own father, and castrated him. Just took the sickle and handled business. Uranus fell. His blood hit the ocean, and from it rose Aphrodite, which is a whole other story. As he retreated into the sky, broken and bleeding, he cursed his son with his last coherent breath. One of your own children will do to you exactly what you just did to me. Kronos heard the prophecy, noted it, became king of the universe, and then proceeded to do absolutely nothing useful with that information. He married his sister Rhea, standard Titan arrangement, nobody asked questions, and they ruled the cosmos together in what was called the Golden Age. Everything was fine. Everything was great. Humanity lived peacefully. The earth was abundant. The sun was warm. Kronos was miserable because the prophecy was eating him alive. Every time Rhea became pregnant, he felt it closing in, the curse of his father, the inevitability of it. So he made a decision that only the truly, catastrophically paranoid can fully understand. When Rhea gave birth to their first child, Hestia, Kronos took the baby, opened his mouth, and swallowed her. Rhea stood there, speechless. Then it happened again with Demeter, then Hera, then Hades, then Poseidon. One by one, each child born, each child gone, straight down the throat of their own father before they could draw a second breath in the world. And here's the thing about Kronos that makes this so much worse. He wasn't cruel in the casual way. He wasn't doing this out of hatred. He was doing it out of fear. He was so terrified of losing power that he destroyed the very things he was supposed to protect. Rhea had had enough. When her 6th child was due, she went to Gaia, her mother, the original sufferer, the one who understood better than anyone what it meant to have your children taken from you, and asked for help. Gaia told her to go to the island of Crete, to give birth there in secret, to hide the child in a cave and wrap a stone in swaddling cloth instead. Rhea did exactly that. She handed her husband a rock, and Kronos, so blinded by his own paranoia, so convinced of his own control over the situation, swallowed it without looking. The child hidden in the cave was Zeus. He was raised by nymphs on the island of Crete, fed on honey and goat's milk, protected by warriors called the Curetes, who clashed their shields together whenever the baby cried, so Kronos wouldn't hear him. Zeus grew up knowing exactly who he was, and exactly what had been done to his siblings. He grew up furious. And he grew up patient. When the time came, Zeus disguised himself and entered his father's court. He gave Kronos a drink. Some accounts say a mixture of wine and mustard. Others say a divine emetic prepared by Gaia herself. And Kronos drank it. What happened next is simultaneously the most mythologically significant and physically revolting moment in Greek history. Kronos vomited up the stone first, then Poseidon, then Hades, then Hera, then Demeter, then Hestia. 5 gods, fully grown, divine, and furious, came rocketing back out into the world. The stone, by the way, was placed at Delphi, where it sat for centuries as a monument to the world's most spectacular miscalculation. The siblings joined Zeus, and together they fought a 10-year war against the Titans, called the Titanomachy. In the end, Kronos lost everything. His throne, his power, his empire, his freedom. Cast into Tartarus, the darkest pit beneath the underworld, to spend eternity with nothing but the memory of what he had and what he threw away. All because he couldn't handle the idea that someone might one day be greater than him.
Number 2. The endless punishment of Prometheus. After the Titans fell and Zeus sat on his throne at Olympus looking down at the world he now controlled, humanity existed, but barely. People were cold, frightened, huddled in caves eating raw meat and dying young in the dark. No warmth, no light after sunset, no way to cook, to forge, to build anything that lasted. The gods looked down at all of this from their warm, golden, well-catered mountain and largely did not care. Prometheus cared. Now Prometheus was a titan, but a complicated one. He had sided with Zeus during the war against Kronos, which technically made him one of the good guys. He was also the god credited with creating humanity, shaping the first people out of clay with his own hands. So when he looked down at his creation shivering in the darkness, it wasn't abstract sympathy, it was personal. He went to Zeus and asked permission to give humans fire. Zeus said no. The reasoning, depending on which version you read, ranged from fire is divine and belongs to the gods to the more honest and more revealing answer that a humanity with fire would be a humanity that needed the gods less. That warmth and light and the ability to forge weapons would make people powerful. And Zeus, fresh off watching his own father get toppled, was not exactly enthusiastic about cultivating powerful challengers. Prometheus heard the answer, nodded, walked away, and then stole the fire anyway. He crept to the forge of Hephaestus on Olympus, lit a fennel stalk from the flame burning there, hid it, carried it down from the mountain, and handed it to humanity. And just like that, campfires, cooked food, warmth through winter, metalwork, civilization, the entire upward arc of human development ignited by one act of defiance against the most powerful being in existence. Humanity looked at fire for the first time and wept with gratitude. Zeus looked at humanity with fire for the first time and lost his mind. The punishment he designed for Prometheus was not quick. It was not proportionate. It was not even intended to end. Zeus wanted something that would last, something that would mean something that would remind every divine being in existence what happened when you crossed him. He had Prometheus chained to a rock, not a small rock, a mountain in the Caucasus, remote, freezing, inescapable, chains forged by Hephaestus himself, the same god whose fire Prometheus had stolen, made from a metal that nothing in existence could break. And then Zeus sent the eagle. Every single morning, as the sun rose, a giant eagle descended from the sky and landed on Prometheus and ate his liver, methodically, completely. Here is the detail that separates this from ordinary cruelty and pushes it into something almost incomprehensible. Prometheus was immortal, which meant that every night, while he hung chained to that freezing mountain in the dark, his liver grew back, completely, fully regenerated, ready to be eaten again every morning. The wings, the talons, the beak, the same pain, fresh, like it was happening for the first time, for thousands of years. Think about that for a second. Not days, not years. Thousands of years of waking up knowing exactly what was coming, watching the sky lighten on the horizon and feeling your stomach drop because you know what flies with the dawn. No escape, no negotiation, no end in sight. And what had he done to deserve this? Made people's lives better.
Number 3. Medea, revenge against a faithless lover. It's ancient Greece, and a guy named Jason has just sailed into the kingdom of Colchis looking for glory. His mission was to steal the legendary golden fleece from the kingdom of Colchis. He's handsome, ambitious, and absolutely convinced the universe owes him something. Typical hero energy. Now the king of Colchis, Aeetes, isn't exactly rolling out the welcome mat. He tells Jason, sure, you can have the golden fleece, no problem at all. You just have to plow a field using 2 fire-breathing bulls, sow it with dragon's teeth, and then defeat the army of skeleton warriors that sprout from the ground. Easy stuff. Jason looks at this task and his confidence evaporates instantly. But here's where fate intervenes. Because King Aeetes has a daughter, and that daughter is Medea. And Medea just looked at Jason and her whole world tilted sideways. The goddess Eros had shot her clean through the chest with an arrow of desire. And this woman, who happened to be a powerful sorceress, was completely, catastrophically gone for this man. So she makes him a deal. She'll use her magic
magic to help him survive every single impossible task her father set. In return, Jason promises to take her with him and make her his wife. He swears it on the gods. He looks her in the eyes and he swears it. And Medea, brilliant woman that she is, believes him. She gives him enchanted ointment to protect him from the fire-breathing bulls. She tells him the secret to defeating the skeleton army. She even drugs the sleepless dragon guarding the fleece so Jason can waltz in and grab it. When her father comes after them in a rage, she makes the escape possible at enormous personal cost. She had burned every bridge behind her, her home, her family, her entire life, all for this man. They sail away together. Jason has his glory, Medea has her husband. For a while, life is good. They settle in Corinth. They have 2 children. Medea has given up everything she ever knew for this family, and she is, by all accounts, devoted. She is a foreign woman in a land that already looks at her sideways, with no family, no kingdom, no safety net. Just Jason, just her children, just the promise he made her on the gods. Then Jason gets an opportunity. The king of Corinth has a daughter, young, politically connected, comes with a crown attached, and Jason, ever the ambitious guy, decides he wants to upgrade. He goes to Medea and explains, very calmly, that he's going to marry the princess, that this is actually good for the whole family, that Medea should be grateful because his new royal connections will protect their children. He actually said that with his mouth to the woman who saved his life multiple times. Medea listens, and something inside her goes very, very quiet. Now here's where the story splits from every other revenge tale in history, because Medea doesn't go after Jason. She goes after everything Jason loves. This isn't rage. This is architecture. This is a woman who spent years helping a man solve impossible problems, and she is now pointing all of that intelligence in one direction. She sends the princess a gift, a beautiful gown and a golden crown. The princess, delighted, puts them on immediately, and then they burst into magical flames that burn so hot that when her father rushes in to save her, he dies too. The palace erupts into chaos. The crown Jason thought he was about to inherit turns to ash. And then Medea does the thing. She kills her children, not out of madness or blind rage, out of devastating, calculated love. She will not leave them to a world where they are motherless and foreign, mocked as the abandoned sons of a faithless man. She will not let Jason keep them as consolation prizes after destroying their family. If he wanted to take everything from her, she would take everything from him first. Jason comes running and finds her standing on the roof, the children already gone. He is completely broken, hollowed out. Everything he traded her in for, the crown, the princess, the future, reduced to smoke and grief in a single afternoon. And Medea looks down at the man she once burned her entire life to be with, and she leaves. No arrest, no punishment. She flies away on a chariot sent by her grandfather, the sun god Helios, because even the cosmos apparently understood what Jason had coming.